Hey guys, didn't want you to have to wait for too long before the unboxing. If you watched the last video, this is supposedly peanut butter flavored. I'm not going to try it actually. I want to keep it in good condition, but you can see where this is also called a caltrop. So you should look that up maybe as a word. And where you'll find caltrops is in tetrapods. As tetrapods, they're called different things. So an application of the caltrop is a large concrete object, thousands of which get piled up kind of higgledy-piggledy to create a breakwater, which means you put it out in the ocean. It's like artificial reef in a way. You use thousands of these giant ones, concrete ones, called tetrapods, to make a breakwater in case there's a tsunami and you want to mitigate the damage as much as you can with the breakwater. That's one place where you'll find the caltrop in use. It's not the only shape used for that. Anyway, in terms of XYZ, remember last time I was talking about, let's see here. Let's get some terminology straight. I was talking about isotropic vector matrix, wasn't I? And I had one here somewhere. There it is. Hold on a second. I got my toy store here. So yeah. This is what we're talking about. Now this toy, this is an older toy. I don't know if it's still available. It's a little bit hard to work with. What's similar and easier to work with though is the Zone, because Zone, the sticks are a little bit bendy. Whereas these sticks, once you got a bunch of rods in place, it's hard to jam in the next one because it's so rigid. It doesn't have as much wiggle room. It's harder to work with, but very substantial. And this is the kind of thing that we explore as kind of a skeletal coordinate system. Now you might be wondering, how does this and this relate? And that's a good question, right? So I've been watching to see if I've got those things in frame. And we talk a lot more about quadrats, but you can see how, okay, let's say this is a point. This black thing in my hand, it's a polyhedron, but let's say in our world, points can be big. Like they don't have to be so small you can't see them. Here's a point you can see, let's just say, like a cartoon point, and it's somewhere. It has an address in the space, meaning if you go a certain amount out this way and then like basically some amount of this direction, and this direction, those three primary directions, some amount of each of those added together. When you add together, you kind of go tip to tail like pencils. Like, when you do vector addition, as it's called, if I have these two vectors and I want to add them, I just say tip to tail. Even if they start out tail to tail, when I add them, I put one of them at the other tip and I add them. So some amount of this direction, and this direction is going to be enough to locate any point in this quadrant, right? And I can, go off camera how far, because these can all be extended, you could say, in terms of like coordinates. So if you played with XYZ by now for spatial coordinates, then this is just an analog to that in a lot of ways. So learning them both in tandem is fun. Going back and forth between them is fun, and that's something we do at the School of Tomorrow. Now, what is a toy? I want to bring that up as a rhetorical question or kind of a query, as the Quakers say, which means you don't need a pat answer. You don't need to, shout out the right answer or be called on to tell. You think about it. Just keep thinking, what is a toy? Because here it says ego. So is my ego a toy? I'm not really asking that. I'm not trying to do a Buddhist talk here. What I mean is this very high-tech weed hacker a toy? I just acquired it. It was actually someone gave it to me after hearing my tale of woe, because I have a neighbor who wishes I would do more to attack my briar patch. And so the weed hacker I was using just wasn't cutting it. It's not like literally. It's got an electrical cord. This one's going to be battery powered. In a way, though, I think it's a toy. I feel like leaf blowers, it's like middle class adults who are wanting to do the upkeep, keep up with the Joneses and stuff. That's what I'm writing about in my blogs and so on in connection with this, because I'm doing anthropology. I'm kind of studying my own situation. So what else did I want to talk about? So there's the quad rays, there's the octet truss, which we also call the isotropic vector matrix. There's sphere packing, there's Zohm tool, there's 12 around 1. So I'm kind of giving you some of the basic vocabulary concepts. Like, you want to get started in what looks to be maybe an interesting geometry. It's got some interesting ideas, and it has toys, and you like toys, and you saw my last video, maybe you're just starting. We can say this has volume 3, and if we do say that, if we stipulate that, then this bigger guy, this will have volume 6. And if I just take off these half couplers, all 6 of them, I'm going to end up back to my cube of volume 3. So you can figure out from this kind of just simple geometric manipulation, if that's volume 3, you can work out, just for yourself by thinking about it, that each one of these couplers must have a volume of 1. So there must be 6 volumes of this size. Somehow makes the rhombic dodecahedron that we're talking about, which is also a space filler. And it's a space filler such that inside of each rhombic dodecahedron you can have a sphere, and we can symbolize that sphere as an icosahedron or as a what we call vector equilibrium, which was actually that point I was sharing a minute ago. That's what I'm looking for. Let's just say this. Let's say this is that same point zoomed in now. So this could be inside, you could say, of each one of the balls here. And the balls actually, these could be enlarged so that they are spheres and they touch each other. Anyway, those are the kinds of transformations. Those are the kinds of animations that will connect all these dots. Oh, the last one I'll show you, okay? This is kind of just showing you all the things. The last one, we call this the jitterbug transformation. And this again is this is the same 12 around 1. Just, we're taking the balls away and just leaving the connecting lines. The wireframe, the sticks that connect the balls. And here we can go down to an icosahedron in either of 2 ways. So think of one of these bouncing back and forth inside each one of these, 12 around 1. Think of each one as kind of like containing something inside of it going like this. Or actually, in addition, think about how once you have an icosahedron, or starting with this other shape, the cube-octahedron vector equilibrium, there are ways to spin them, right? Like you can sort of put a shaft through opposite face centers, say, and that gives you an axis of spin. So we're going to be doing that and getting 25 great circles from the vector equilibrium, and we're going to get 31 great circles from each of these icosahedra. And that's kind of, again, a starting point. Like what I just described, it would take a lot of words to describe, but just seeing, kind of what I'm talking about on camera with models makes a big difference. So that's what I'm saying. If you're in a nerd cave somewhere and you're working on presenting this material and you want to have relevant toys and you want to use my slides and you want to practice this, and eventually make YouTubes and so on, then more power to you. And one of those toys, as I say, is a Quado to help you explain to people what it is. Oh, there's my point. Shrunk it back down again. You want to explain to people how all these dots connect, right? And what I'm kind of doing is throwing a bunch of dots out there. And I'm going to end with this LED light, I think, if I can get it to light up. If I can get it to light up. Doesn't really want to poke it with something. All right. I was going to reintroduce that light from another video, but let's go back to the spooky ball for the grand finale. And so I hope you enjoyed that with the Quado. I wanted to rush that out for you. All right. Talk to you later.